Hello. So today I want to talk to you about structure and securing paying clients. Okay. So I understand you want to start an online business as a service provider, right? Ideally, a coach, a therapist, mentor, counselor, facilitator, teacher, etc. Okay, so today I am breaking down everything that you need to do to actually set up your online coaching business. And I'm talking about, I'm not just talking about the fluffy stuff that you'll find on Google. Okay, these are some of the things I really wish someone had shared with me. You don't need to apply for your 501c3. You don't need to get an EIN number, and you definitely don't need to go get trademarked yet. Okay. As a nonprofit founder, first and foremost, you are a business owner. Okay, so if you're just getting started with your online business, before you do any of the stuff that Google normally tells you to do, the first thing that you need to do is start thinking about the offer that you're going to be selling and where you're going to sell it. Okay. Hey, everyone. It's good to see you. I know it's been a minute. So the first thing you need to be worrying about is actually like getting your first paid client. The only benefit for you actually applying for your tax exemption or registering with your state that you live in is if you're actually conducting business, right? The only reason why you will get an EIN number or even consider trademarking your business is if you have something to protect. If you're not generating revenue, if you're not making money, it's a moot point. Okay. If you're not actually making money, that means that you don't have any liability or risk. So there's no need to spend time building out a complex business plan or spending money setting up these legal structures or getting legal protection or even recruiting board members until you actually have some money coming in the door. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So as a nonprofit founder, I've generated, for those who are new to me, welcome. My name is Kamala Brown Washington. I am a nonprofit founder, and I've generated over 4 million in annual revenue. I hover somewhere between 2 and 4 million a year. And that's before I even started as an online revenue coach. And I use social media to attract qualified leads and enroll them into my high ticket coaching program. And when I first got started, I really was sitting exactly in the same position that you're in right now, just trying to figure out how to make money without self-funding, without relying on grants, and planning these elaborate, intensive fundraising campaigns. Right, I was working full time. Within my nonprofit business, I started in 2008. So I was working full time in my business, but I really wasn't in a position to pay myself. And so I've always had like part-time jobs or little side hustles in order to really keep the bills paid. I had a strong, passion for what I did, but I didn't want my employer to dictate my earning potential. And if other nonprofit businesses were profitable and sustainable, why not me? That was like the mindset that I always had. And I wanted to influence my salary. I wanted to have control over the value that I bring, and more importantly, the intellectual property that I have for solving, my clients' problems. So you probably already have some skill sets that are transferable, something that you can teach somebody else to do, or results that you've already gotten. And now you found, out that, so much of the world is transitioning to this online space. I'm not saying if you have a traditional brick and mortar, perfectly fine. I'm not saying you have to give that up, but you should certainly consider, if you haven't already, implemented an online presence and create some type of a hybrid type program, right? So now you're like, okay, I've been legit everywhere else. I've been playing by the rules, crossing my I's, dotting my T's. And now you're thinking, okay, I'm ready to start my online business. I need to make sure that I'm legit and following in the same accord, right? I get it. Well, this is where it gets a little bit different, because climbing the corporate ladder and establishing yourself as a business owner are two completely different paths. So before we get into how to set up your online business, all the stuff that Google already tells you to do, I'm going to tell you the things that I wish another successful nonprofit business owner would have told me when I first got started, right? I really want you to make the decision right now, like right now at this very moment. Do you want a nonprofit business, or do you want a nonprofit ministry? Okay. They're not right or wrong. They're not good or bad, but they are completely different business models. And just for clarity, a nonprofit business, you're going to charge a fee for a service. You're going to establish a business model that generates, consistent monthly revenue. And once your revenue is solidified, then grants can be used to help supplement your income, to help make ends meet, right? But you need to have a business model that's generating revenue. Okay, just FYI. Hospitals are nonprofit. They charge fees. Colleges, universities are nonprofit. They charge tuition, housing, meal plans, parking. They charge for the games, concession stands, books. They charge. The retail store, IKEA, you go into like the little warehouse area, you pick the box, you bring the furniture home, and you put the furniture together. That store, IKEA, is a nonprofit. So I want you to, really change your mindset about what a nonprofit business looks like, and completely eliminate the thought pattern that you have to give free services away to be a nonprofit business. Now, if you're a nonprofit ministry, something completely different, okay? Then you are giving free services away, and you are completely reliant upon grants and donations, contributors, fundraisers, so forth, to be sustainable, right? So you need to determine, what type of business model do you want? Do you want a nonprofit business, or do you want a nonprofit ministry? Okay, so now we got that out of the way. When you're ready to launch your online business, the first thing, and you might hear my son running a blender in the background, so I apologize about that. The first thing that you want to set up is your social media profiles. Okay, so you want to make sure that you optimize and set up your online presence. The thing that's really counterintuitive, when you're running a online business, you really have to use every piece of online real estate as if it were your brick and mortar. So, when you have a traditional brick and mortar office, retail store, whatever that happens to be, that type of physical business where you can walk into that establishment, you have an open sign, you might have a grand opening, you might do a ribbon cutting, and you have the benefit of foot traffic, right? People naturally walking by, just kind of like moseying their way, and they'll wander into your establishment. Well, you need to replicate that on the internet, right? So let's take a look at what your actual online real estate looks like. So I highly recommend that you go into Google and naturally search your name, like Google yourself. And the reason why I want you to search your name and Google yourself is so that you can actually see what your online presence currently looks like. If someone were to Google you, what will they see? What will they find? Do you have a very common name to where someone might mix you up with someone else? Was your name, Michelle Smith, where there might be a lot of Michelle Smiths, but they need this specific Michelle Smith that does exactly what you do, right? So you don't want them to be able to mix Michelle's, right? So when you Google me, and this is what I did before I, hopped on, I did a Google search with my name, and, of course, my website popped up, CamelaBrownWashington.com, my Facebook, my Instagram, my LinkedIn, some of the publications that I've been featured in, Forbes, Voyager, Atlanta, CBS, Fox News, and then my podcast interviews. So just some of the exposure and accomplishments that I've had over the years were able to, pop up, right? So it was interesting because under salary.com, my name had my name, then had salary.com, and it listed the gross revenue for the business. So it had like less than 5 million. So it was hovered between the 4 and the 5. And it was interesting. I don't know where they got that information. I mean, it's valid, it's true, but you want to make sure, one, that you have an online presence, and two, you want to make sure that whatever is listed is accurate. So you don't want like Michelle Smith, who has a bunch of felonies, like popping up. Like that's not you, but there's Michelle Smith out there that like might have a negative reputation, and that can hinder your progress. So just make sure that you're not caught off guard. You're not caught by surprise. You're not blindsided. You know exactly what's out there, right? So Google yourself and see what is the first thing that immediately comes up. Whatever those platforms are, that's what I want you to prioritize optimizing and updating. Okay, update your username, update your profile photos, update your bio, your headline section, like update everything across your social media platform should be coherent and consistent, meaning like that's like your first name and last name. Now I know you might be wondering, well, if I'm a business, shouldn't I have a different business name outside of my government name? Like, shouldn't I create a unique name like everyone else has told me, to do? When you're running an online business, especially that's built on your level of expertise and your brand, it's a little bit different. Okay, you're building a brand, and I truly believe that the first name that you need to start with building is your own. Like your real name is what people are going to actually search for. And yes, you might, have a specific name for your organization or for your program. That's perfectly fine. And, over time, after you start building up your brand and, getting more paid clients, you might actually decide that, I want to pick the name for, the business. When you're ready to really go legit and to, legalize everything, that's when you can really start putting thought around that, right? But for now, you don't really need to separate the business from your personal brand. Okay. You want to be known as that go-to person, as that guru, that person that they know whenever they have this specific type of problem, this is who you need to see, right? So you almost want your name to become like a household name. You are that go-to person to solve that problem. Like when you want like the bomb phone, you're not trying to, go to another, you're going straight to Apple because you already know Apple has the brand, the reputation, the technology, the features. They're number one, right? If you want coffee or some type of hot drink, you're going to Starbucks. I don't even drink coffee, but I go to Starbucks because of the brand. Okay. So that's what you want. But when you're getting started, you don't really need to worry about that right now. Like, remember, the most important thing is really getting your first paid client. That's what I want for you. Start making money, right? So all that other stuff can be decisions that you can make, further down the line. And after you've updated all your social media profiles, the next thing you want to do to launch your online business is actually set up your scheduling link. Okay. This is going to be the link in your bio, or if it's your Facebook page, that about section. You want to put it across all your social media profiles. On Instagram, when they say click the link in my, bio, if you want to create a link tree, perfectly fine. If, you just want to put your scheduling link in your bio, that's perfectly fine too. Okay. That link should be taking your viewers to book time on your calendar. Okay. Facebook, LinkedIn, they're all the same, right? Everywhere in your social media, you want to have the same presence and you want them to be able to get in contact with you. And the reason why I recommend that you set up a scheduling link is because from the very beginning, when you're getting started, especially your first few clients, sales happen through conversations. Okay. And I don't want to scare you with the word sales, but at the end of the day, that's what it boils down to. If you want someone to enroll in your program, you want them to hire you as a consultant, you want them to hire you for, as a therapist or a tutor or a teacher, whatever it is, still sales. Okay. So you can doctor it up and get your mind right for whatever that is. But I truly want you to understand you have to start having conversations. And as of right now, you probably don't have enough clarity around your offer and around your message, right? You're not sure exactly what or how to articulate your message and how to write the copy and how to build the website and your landing pages and what packages, you're really going to sell, and then even at what price points, right? The beautiful part of, of just giving people the opportunity to hop on a call with you is that it gives you the flexibility to kind of customize and curate your packages and your offer and your pricing, right? So in the beginning, as inquiries come in, versus you overwhelming yourself by spending the next few months doing all the back end homework to figure out all these things before you even put yourself out there, or let people even know that you're open for business. That scheduling software that I recommend for my clients is either Calendly or Acquidity scheduling. Now, both of these softwares have free options that you can take advantage of when you're getting started, and it directly integrates with your Google Calendar. So you can log into those softwares, you can just align your availability. And when people click to book a call with you, only your availability will be visible for them. And once they book that call, the meeting will immediately integrate with your Google Calendar. So it helps you just stay organized and to help manage your capacity in the very beginning, okay? At this stage, you're already light years ahead of other people who are just getting started with launching their coaching business, because you've made it public that you are actively and available to start working with clients in some kind of capacity, right? And you set up a booking link to make it easy for someone to actually have a conversation with you. They also can have conversations with you through DMs, chats, so forth, but it's nothing like hopping on a Zoom call or a phone call and just really having that interaction and building that connection. So if you're thinking, okay, well, Cam, shouldn't I focus on recruiting board members first? No. It's extremely hard to recruit independent, high-performing board members when you don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. I'm telling you what I wish someone had told me. Do you know the best way to attract board members? Success. How about that? Success is the most effective way to attract board members. Do you know the best way to run them away? Indecisiveness, right? So when you're first getting started, you're still trying to figure out your footing, what's your rhythm, I really like doing this, but I have a passion for doing that, but I'm really more of an expert at doing this, but I'm really burnt out on that. I really want to dabble over here. You're kind of all over the place, where I want this and this and this. Well, you're doing too much. You're doing the most. Okay, and you cannot be everything to everybody. You really need to be able to hone in on what your level of expertise is, so you can start generating revenue. Okay, so avoid hopping all over the place like playing checkers, and really, when you're at the point of recruiting board members, you want to be more strategic, like playing chess. You want to be intentional. You want to be purposeful, and you really want to know and identify exactly who and what type of person you want on your board. And we'll talk about that a little bit, later at another date, right? So until you have a proven business model that generates revenue, it's going to be a challenge recruiting real board members, which is why so many of you have friends and family on your board. And trust me, I'm guilty of it too. When I first got started, I had friends and family on my board, which is why, you're frustrated, you're stressed out, you broke, right? And you're expecting them to bring funding and relationships and partnerships and and resources to the table, but they're not qualified to have a seat at your board table. I'm kind of digressing, but I'm really, really passionate about this. So, and I'll probably do a video or a podcast on this topic about building a high performing board at a later date. But if it's something that you're interested in, by all means, like drop it in the comments or send me a DM and just let me know. But you want a independent board. You don't want your board built on friends and family. You're gonna have a whole bunch of conflict and jealousy, and I'm broke and I can't afford that. And why are you doing it that way? Well, we need to look. We're not going through all that, right? You are the founder. There would not be a board if it wasn't for your vision. Your board is not your boss. Let me just put that out there and just like take that pressure off of you. Okay, you're the founder of your organization. The organization would not exist if it were not for you and your vision. Why? Make it make sense to me. Why would you go out to recruit board members to be your boss? Who does that? Right? So again, another video and a podcast at a later date, but let me just relieve you of that right now. They're not your boss. They are there to be an advocate, to be a cheerleader, to be a champion, to open doors for you that you cannot open. Okay, if you can open the doors yourself, then you don't really need them. So it's coming. Okay, it's coming. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do a video, a live, a podcast on your board. I know it's a hot topic. So back on track. The next thing you want to do is set up and launch your online business, right? You really need to identify what problem you're going to solve based on the skill set that you currently have. The next thing you want to do is actually set up and launch your online is actually figure out what it is that you're going to be selling. What you choose to sell is something that you're going to be continuously refining and evolving over time. So what I want you to focus on right now is your initial offer, not your forever offer. It's going to times change, people change, needs change, everything changes, right? But at least this is where you're going to start kind of building your foundation. Okay. So I don't want you to make the mistake of spending the next 3 to 6 months, agonizing, researching, building out an offer, creating content, recording videos, building all these workbooks and worksheets when you actually haven't validated if somebody even wants to buy what you're offering. Okay. So I want you to first focus on what is the skill set that I currently have? What is the problem that I can solve associated with how people currently perceive me? Very important, okay? This is the thing that I wish that I had known when I first got started in my online business. There's a distinction between solving a problem that is in demand versus having to go find the demand for an offer that you want to sell. Let me say that again, write this down for the people in the back, okay? There is a distinction between solving a problem that is in demand versus having to find a demand for an offer that you want to sell. When I first started my online program, it was called Create a Charity or Create a Profitable Charity. I think it's called Create a Charity, right? Because I thought people I thought my audience, my MVC, which is my most valuable, client, most valuable customer, I thought my person wanted to know how to get established. But as I started securing clients and we would be in our weekly coaching calls. All they wanted to know was like, how'd you make money? Like, how'd you get to seven figures, right? So I realized probably over 6 to 8 months, they really didn't want to know how to get established. They really wanted to know how to make money. So then I changed the program to how to create a profitable charity. Then I was getting people with the wrong mindset. Like, they were nonprofit founders, they were business owners, but they really were of the mindset of, I need funding, I need donations, I need grants, I need to fundraise. Like, no, that's not what you need. You need to create a business model that's generating revenue. So finally, I've tweaked it to create a profitable blueprint, because you need a proven framework, a proven method for you to start generating revenue before you start really applying for a bunch of grants. You have these little micro grants, not get that, 5,000 here, 2,000, 800, fine. But when you really start talking about big grants, 30,000, 50,000, $100,000, you need to have a business model in place that's already generating revenue based on a proven system, a proven strategy that's repeatable. Okay. So if you don't have an existing audience that you can sell to, meaning like that you can like create whatever it is that you want, and that they're going to buy it, we need to really think in the reverse. Like, we need to like reverse engineer what this process is really going to consist of, right? Is this too much? Am I going too fast? Right? Let me know. Okay. All right. I want you to look at your existing journey over the last 3, 5, 10 years of your life experience, okay? Of your work experience. What unique problems have you already figured out how to solve? And I'm not talking about like those like nuanced problems, like, oh my gosh, all my friends come to me to like, ask me advice about their life or about their love life or whatever. I'm not talking about that. That's very like surface level. I want you to go deeper. What are some of those sophisticated, more advanced issues that you've been able to solve that people associate and know you for? Have you started a business outside of this online world and actually made money from it? Have you been able to climb the corporate ladder, and now you're sitting in more of a senior level position and people are constantly coming to you for mentorship, guidance and like leadership type coaching, or asking, how can I get, promoted? Like, I want you to think about your tactical skill sets, the tangible results that you've gotten that are impressive and that are noteworthy and that other people like associate and know you for. Like my best friend, like, she purchases single family homes and she rents them out to traveling nurses, right? That might be something that, you can teach to someone else, like how they can make the same type of investment and, make money, right? And she does this on the side. She's a senior vice president for Fortune 500, entertainment company, but, she does this on the side. Not just buying a home and flipping it, but specifically buying homes to rent to traveling nurses. Like, that's a special skill set, right? So after you have identified like 2 or 3 problems that you have already solved for other people, Then I want you to think about what is currently in demand. That thing, to really take note. Like every idea, I really want you to hear me on this. Every idea is a great idea. Okay. Everyone's idea is great, but not every idea is a great business opportunity. Just because you have a great idea, that doesn't mean that it needs to be a business. Okay. So food for thought. I just don't want you to keep spinning your wheels and wasting time. Great idea, great vision. Love it. It don't need to be a business. Okay. If you can't find a way to monetize that, it needs to stay right where it is as a great idea. So again, the goal of you setting up and launching your online business is to actually get paid. Not to stay busy looking like you're getting yourself together, but being busy, because you are actively having conversations and actively, coaching clients or working with clients who have paid to work with you. Okay. Once you've identified that noteworthy problem or result that you've been able to get for yourself, start to pay attention to where you're getting requests. What do people want you to help them figure out? What are people asking you that's already aligned with the skills that you currently have? The most important thing that I don't want you to do is trying to only address and solve surface level issues. Okay. Yeah, I want to start a food pantry, or I want to help the homeless, or okay, yeah, those are good. And those are definitely needed. Is that a business or is that a ministry? Is there a way for you to monetize those? Is there a specific niche problem that you're solving? Or you're just, trying to be like everybody else, right? What's going to set you and your program apart from someone else's, right? So I want you to start thinking more on the level of a sophisticated problem that you are the most qualified individual to solve. Okay. For example, I had a client, Catherine, who was a private practice therapist, and she had built her private practice to 6 figures in under 2 years or so, which is really, really good. It's kind of unheard of, right? But how was she able to do that? And she did that by using Instagram to generate leads and incorporating her personal brand into her marketing strategy. And instead of just listing her services on psychology.com or the normal, therapy directories online, she was proactively marketing herself and building her brand. And so, this is a really great example, because when Catherine decided to transition from private practice therapy into creating an online business, what she could have done is the easy way out, which is to create an entry-level offer, right? Just kind of keeping people, helping people with their life, build confidence, build self-esteem. I know a lot of you like to have these programs where you're building confidence and self-esteem. Okay, it's good and it's needed, but it's not tangible, right? Which is another variation of what she was already doing in therapy. But what she decided to do actually, that allowed her to build a multi-6-figure business, is creating a coaching business, teaching other therapists how to build a 6-figure practice using Instagram, and transitioning from insurance-based pay to private pay. You see the level and the layer of specificity and the distinction she's not doing just the surface level. Hey, if you want to, build your confidence. Hey, if you want to manifest, good blessings in your life. Like, okay, yeah, that's good. And it's needed. It is. How to monetize that? It's going to be hard. Everybody's doing that, right? But if you can like train the trainer, if you can coach the coach, if you have a special intellectual property that you can monetize and capitalize based on the sophisticated problem that you're solving. Like for me, there's tons of people out there that can help you establish your nonprofit, right? There's tons of people out there, coaches out there that can show you how to have an online program, right? But I don't know of any coach that specializes in the nonprofit space, works with nonprofit founders with an online program and helps them establish a revenue generating business model. Maybe they're out there. I'm sure I'm not the only one, but I am the go-to person, right? Or else you wouldn't be watching, you wouldn't be, listening to me. So, I'm not talking about, I'm not coaching on grants. I'm not coaching on fundraising. I'm not coaching on, how to, I don't know, how to give free services away, but yet still be sustainable. Because make sense to me. I to this day, I still don't understand that, right? So all I focus on is generating revenue. Now, a portion of my program will focus on building your board, because that's like all day, every day, I'm that. But you really need to focus on revenue and making money and understanding the difference between having a business and a ministry. That's all I do all day, every day. I've never minced words. I've never minced my messaging. My messaging has always been articulate about building a business based on revenue, right? So that's what you want to become, that go-to person on whatever subject matter that you are an expert at, okay? That's what I want you to think about when you're creating your first offer or identifying a specific skill that you can help someone else solve. Okay. Now, if you need more help clarifying your offer or really being able to like dive into your skill set, I have a free ebook and a PDF that you can have completely free. I'll leave the link in my bio. I'm recording on 2 platforms. So if the link is not in the caption, just send me a DM. Just DM me and I will send you the link to my free ebook. And it'll walk you through my journey as a $1 million charity and the strategies that I use. And this will like help you kind of like get your juices flowing. Okay. So once you've identified the skill set and once you start paying attention to the requests, the third thing, hopefully my battery won't go out. The third thing that you need to pay attention to is what is happening in the market and in the industry right now. Like, what is the sentiment that people have? Are there new threats in your industry? Are there new opportunities in your industry? When you think about yourself, like where do you kind of fit in that spectrum? And what could you best, or how could you best support guiding other people through whatever, process, right? Do you want to take some time to I really want you to take some time to think through this. And I don't want you to overthink, like really put some thought into it, but don't overthink. All right. So now you've set up your online presence, you set up your booking link, and you've identified a skill set that you can teach somebody else. This is where the fun really, begins, okay? Because now you're going to actually start making invitations to begin to work with paid clients, right? Now you might be wondering, like, what the heck am I supposed to charge? How long should I be working with people? Like it's time to really start making invitations to selling people into your offer where they can pay to work with you. This is where I do not want you to overcomplicate, not put emphasis on. I keep talking about overthinking and overcomplicating. Okay, right? Please don't overcomplicate and please don't overthink. Okay, we're going to make decisions and we're going to take action. And when you're setting up and launching your online business, I want you to just think about the most valuable program, which I call your MVP, your most valuable program. Like, what's going to bring the most value right now to your audience? My audience is not worried about how to get established. They're worried about how am I going to make doggone money? That's the value that I bring. How to make money. How can I stop robbing Peter to pay Paul? How can I stop self-funding? How can I stop wasting time writing all these grants and planning these fundraisers and really focus on what I'm called to do, which is to serve? That's my skill set, right? So this is going to be the offer that allows you to get paid, right? Don't look, if you don't have experience doing something, don't start reinventing the wheel, because no one's going to pay you to do that. Like, you want to monetize a level of expertise that frontwards and backwards, sideways, upside down, standing on your head, walking backwards twice on Sunday. That's what you want to monetize. That's what you want to become the expert at. That's the guru that you want to become, right? So put your foot in the water and really start building relationships with your clients so you can start getting some validation and testing and getting some experience. And then again, you will evolve over time, right? So for your very first offer, I recommend like a short-term container, maybe a 1-hour session, or start with a small package, like for like once a month or monthly. Okay. I gotta hop off soon. A monthly, where you're meeting, with your client once a week. If you're most established and well versed in your skill set, maybe you've had clients that that have paid you before, maybe you do like a 3-month package where you're meeting with, your client weekly or bi-weekly. Okay. The length of your client relationship is going to be, dedicated or dictated by the problem that you are solving and how much contact that client needs to actually get the result that you're selling them into. But again, if you're like, Cam, I have no idea how long it will take, this is where, again, having the benefit of customizing things from each client to client relationship, because you're just getting started and you're not really in a position to where you have to worry about leveling up or, scaling, the number one thing that I want you to focus on right now is just how to get your first paid client. And you can just start with like a 1-hour session and then allow the client to book additional sessions, afterwards. And that's probably the easiest way to get started. And trust me when I tell you, I wish somebody would have told me when I first got started with my online coaching business that, my first 3 to 10 clients were going to be people that I knew. Like, you're probably not going to get a lot of strangers right now off the internet. Like, yes, we care about lead generation and doing marketing and using social media and leveraging the internet 100%. But you're just getting started. So I want you to focus on your sphere of influence. Okay. Oops. Okay. Think about it like dating. Like, I want you to go on your first 3 to 5 dates, getting your first 5 paid clients, getting back to that offer that you were thinking about, whatever you're thinking about selling, right? Again. Okay. This is where you can do your first kind of gut check on whether or not you pick an offer that's aligned with the skill set that you also aligned, how people perceive you, and look at your sphere of influence. Look at social networks that you're a part of, leadership communities that you're a part of, the organizations that you support. Think about your relationships 2 to 3, degrees outside of you, right? The offer that you identified selling are there people in that sphere that you already can identify as potential clients? Okay. So I want you to make a list of 25 people. Yes, 25. So the next time that somebody reaches out and asks for your support about whatever that particular thing is, instead of you hemming and hawing and rambling and giving all this free advice, let them know, I will absolutely love to support you. Let's hop on a call and have a phone conversation to really understand what your unique needs are and how can I best support you moving forward. And when you do that, then you can roll them into, a paid offer versus just giving them free advice. Okay. So quickly, let's see if I can get through my notes. Let's see. So when it comes to setting up and launching your online business, there are, some things that you really do need to pay attention to and take care of, first. So go through everything that I just shared with you. After that, and you've secured your first, say, $1,000, then you can apply for your EIN. You can, submit your articles to the Secretary of State. You can go ahead and complete your Form 1023 and go ahead and get your tax exemption, apply for your tax exemption. You can do the short form. You can do the easy short form. You can do the long form. Doesn't matter, but you don't need to start doing all that stuff. You're kind of putting the cart before, the horse. That's why my clients in a profitable blueprint are generating revenue within the first 90 days of enrolling. Once they've earned first $1,000 or $5,000, this is when you can start, going to the IRS website and securing your EIN number and, so forth. Other than that, you're coming out of pocket having to do all that. And you want the business has to be able to sustain itself. If you keep putting money into the business, then the business will never be independent. Now you just have a very, very expensive hobby. Okay. So start generating revenue. First things first, right? So, and there's a book that you might want to consider reading, which I love. It's called Profit First. And I'll talk about that again on another video, but in the very beginning of my business journey, that really helped me evolve my money mindset and making sure that I'm always paying myself first from the very, very beginning. All right. So now it's time for you to get set up and launch your online coaching business, focusing on the things that matter most to actually get paid clients, right? So you're not just like working, doing busy work, being distracted, and being broke. If you're ready to lean into my proven framework for establishing a revenue generating business model for your online business, please click the link around this video or in the show notes of this podcast and go ahead and apply. I would love to have a conversation with you inside of the Profitable Blueprint. Okay. Thank you for watching and listening, and we'll chat soon. Okay. Take care.
One day I was on social media and I came across Kamala. I stopped following her and decided to join her group, and it's been great ever since. Kamala is a people person. She's very open, she's very transparent, and she comes down to your level. She meets us where we are, and I love that about her. And she's very forward with you, and she tells you what you need to know, and she's not sugarcoated.